Yeah, crypto had a huge deleveraging event on October 10th, and part of that was triggered by the escalating tensions with U.S. and China on tariffs and trade. And that was the biggest liquidation event in 5 years for crypto. So there is still those ripple effects, 2 weeks later that are plaguing the crypto market. But I think we're almost through that because a measure like something called open interest for both Ethereum and Bitcoin are at record lows at a time when the technicals for both Bitcoin and Ethereum are flipping positive. So I think you're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year. And it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
To be early indicators of where stocks are directionally headed, as well as indicators of liquidity in the broader market. So given what we are seeing in Bitcoin, and as that relates to the S&P 500, and arguably what we're seeing in Ethereum, and what that says about the Russell 2000, I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's sending a pretty bullish signal. Part of it is it's a counterfactual statement, but crypto had the biggest liquidation event, deleveraging event in history. The number is probably multiples of what happened during FTX, and Bitcoin ends up down 3 or 4%. So I think it shows you that Bitcoin itself is proving to be a pretty good store of value, because if we had seen this happen with gold in the gold market, if there was a huge deleveraging event and gold was only down a few percentage points, we'd of course consider that a real validation. And it's also true of Ethereum, because Ethereum is seeing so much activity growth. On the L1 and the L2, because of stable coins, and it's not reflected in the price. It does take time. So to me, because like what I'd call the fundamental activity on Ethereum is really picking up, it argues for a pretty big move into end of the year as well.
PayPal's crypto partner Paxos minting $300 trillion worth of stablecoins last week in what the company called a, quote, technical error. The amount would require more than double the world's GDP to back the transaction. Joining us now first on CNBC to explain what happened, Paxos co-founder and CEO Chad Cascarilla. Chad, explain this to me like I'm 5. How do you just add a couple zeros, and what are the broader implications of a technical error like this?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is this mint was obviously a mistake, something to take very seriously. This is not the level we want to hold ourselves to. It's very serious and regrettable. Our partners, our customers, our regulators all expect more out of us, and we expect more out of ourselves. So I want to be really clear about that. And essentially what happened is we had a manual error. And, it's very important when you try to have the right controls in place, when you have cold offline systems and warm online systems, where should you add manual controls? How should those work? They can create levels of security, but they can also create possibilities for mistakes. And obviously we have one here. And maybe the next point is no customer funds were impacted. No funds ever left our systems. We have a lot of other controls. Nothing went out into the publicly available blockchain. It was a movement between two different wallets inside our own Paxos systems that happened on the blockchain. And that's the transparency you get with the blockchain. The whole point of the blockchain is you can kind of see what's happening even when it's internal. And so this is an internal operational manual error. And, I think in some ways, the whole point of the blockchain is that it's transparent. It also allows us to get better. Lots of companies have operational errors. It's not something that we take lightly. We want to be much better than this.
So you mint the stable coin and then you burn it, but that never essentially left your system. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's right. Essentially, as soon as we minted it, within a minute or two, our systems caught it. Then we rolled it back. And it would kind of just be like if you had any other operational error, you're in your checkbook, you added a zero, you realize you shouldn't have added a zero, you roll it back. Now, I don't want to minimize it in any ways or diminish what happened here, but this was something that was an internal process mistake.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Tom Lee still calling for an upside year-end. And yes, if the Fed cuts twice, that's about $180 billion that would go back into the market. But me personally, I only see one cut this year because we still have inflation hot and tariffs won't hit us until next year. And the labor market is going to look decent just because of the holidays. And then on top of it, we have a government shutdown. Now, we do have the Treasury that needs to refinance trillions and trillions of dollars by year end. And they may pull off something that's going to create a whole lot of liquidity. We definitely got to sit back and watch it, or they can shrink a whole lot of liquidity because we do have Japan that may make a move this year. If Japan doesn't make a move this year, we know they're going to be making plenty of moves next year. We definitely have to keep an eye on Japan rate hikes. And the United States has to refinance $9.4 trillion this year. I think they did about 4 or 5 the first quarter, but they still have to do the rest year end. So just like I stated, we just got to watch the Treasury. Now we have CNBC again talking about Paxos $300 trillion that they printed of PayPal stablecoins, and this should be no news. It never should have been a topic because we know they burned it within 20 minutes. But remember, negative news travels faster. It definitely should not be making CNBC. All the hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that Tether has minted, it doesn't make the news. Now we have JP Morgan's news that they may allow Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral again comes on a Friday. And next Friday, we're going to have plenty of entertainment. Yes, it's October 31st, but we know if you switch those numbers around, it's October 13th, and it's on a Friday. So we're definitely going to get our popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Hegseth launches the real drums on drugs. Basically, they're blowing up all these ships. But guys, we're on the banks of the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. Remember who creates all the crime, people. The economy has always been the secret weapon. Give everybody a fair chance to make a living wage. The environment is going to be way better than an environment where you let the top eat and the bottom fight for scraps. But now that universal basic income is coming in, where everybody's going to get free money, and this whole economy is going to be turned into a video game, they no longer need the underground economy. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And speaking of underground economy, you have the NBA drama. And I haven't done any research on it, but first looking at it, and the only reason why I know is because my granddad, I don't think I ever said this before, but my granddad had a whole lot of money. Whole lot of money. But he was a numbers runner on the East Coast. And we know what happened to those number runners. They got ran out, and what came in? That's right, the lottery. So then therefore, the government could come in and tax it. And the same thing when it comes to this gambling situation. That's basically what I see. They're getting rid of the underground. And we know when it comes to betting on these games, underground is making billions and billions and billions of dollars. Money that we don't see, money that's not getting taxed. And it looks like they're going to be putting that to an end. And I have a feeling there's going to be more to come. But we also know we're living in a fragmented world, and blockchain and tokenization is also going to be taking over these casinos and betting. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And if you have the NWO book, I go over that the Alphabet Boys have been embedded inside of these major league sports in the first place, and that's from the beginning. So they've been known what's going on. As the fact is, when they want to bring it out for entertainment or as a distraction. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
You see headlines like this, and it may make people a little bit more nervous just about their durability and their ties to the dollar or other currencies. What would you tell those people who are kind of maybe their confidence has been a little shaken from headlines like this?
Well, I think the whole point of the blockchain is that you have more transparency than you do in traditional systems. And that transparency can also illustrate problems like we had last week. But, part of the reason you get run on banks, you have accelerator effects during financial crisis, is you don't know what you can trust. You don't really know what is happening underneath the hood. And with the blockchain, you get that. And of course, that means you can also have other issues that get brought to light like this, and they're ones that we can learn from. And I think that having a more transparent financial system and one that is immediately available is something that will put us into a position as a society of having something that can really be responsive and actually be safer and more trusted over time. So it's not ideal going through something like this, but it's something that's going to make us stronger. We're going to learn from it. And the important point is you have the right controls in place so that customer funds aren't lost, that there isn't an impact to the broader tokenization ecosystem because funds didn't leak out and become double minted, which didn't happen outside of our systems.
But now JP Morgan is allowing clients to pledge Bitcoin and Ether as collateral for loans. Leslie Picker is joining us now with details. Hi, Leslie.
Hey, Morgan. Yeah, and chatting with sources familiar with the matter, I'm told it's still early days. And for now, the concept is limited to the firm's trading business. JP Morgan's trading business has, for a few months now, accepted IBIT, the ETF, as a form of collateral, which it sees as less volatile as the underlying currency. However, I'm told that certain hedge fund managers and asset managers are demanding more of these types of crypto services. Although, again, I'm told that offering Bitcoin and Ether as collateral for trading is not imminent at the firm. While many remember, as you mentioned, Morgan, Jamie Dimon's comments about Bitcoin being, say, a pet rock, he has moderated his tone recently. Here's what he said when I asked him a few months ago about the firm's increasing overlap in crypto, including a Coinbase partnership and the stablecoin-like token JPMD.
If the customers want to use it and how they use it and it's used properly, we'll be doing it. It's what the customer wants. It's not what JP Morgan personally wants.
Our message to these foreign terrorist organizations is we will treat you like we have treated Al-Qaeda. We will find you, we will map your networks, we will hunt you down, and we will kill you. And you've seen that evidence in the maritime domain, whether it's in the Caribbean or in the Pacific with the last two strikes. We know exactly who these people are. We know what networks they work with, what foreign terrorist organizations they're a part of. We know where they're going, where they originated from, what they're carrying. And
athletes are they may say, "Hey, we don't care about parlays, but they care about it because it affects them. Mentally it affects them, and they don't want to have to come to a game and be worrying about their own fans cheering them or booing them because they didn't make the parlay. They supposed to get 25 points, but they got 22, 23 points. And what it does is it changes the narrative of the game. There's just so much that comes along with that. So, yes, it do needs to be some ramifications around it, and I'm sure the powers that be are looking into that.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.